Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Dwarf Fortress with Teemo. I'm going to do a little tutorial about becoming the capital tonight. The dwarf civilization that you um, depart from to create your fortress has a monarch somewhere in it. It could be a king or a queen. Either way, there's a leader of the civilization. If you do a good enough job building your fort, you can actually get them to come to your fort. They'll really relocate over to you if they like your fort better. And there's kind of some behind the scenes calculations that runs that. But essentially, to do that, what you have to do is export enough wealth, create enough wealth within your fortress itself, and then also just donate a lot of stuff to the dwarves when they show up. So the dwarves will get a little um, ambassador that comes and talks to you. They'll have dwarfy names. It'll say that there's a dwarf coming. So there's lots of indications that it's dwarves that are showing up to talk to you. So when those dwarves come, and you want to get it's called getting the mountain home in your fortress, what you're going to need to do is trade them a lot of value, but it's also that you're going to have to just find a lot of items to donate to them. So you essentially, in the trade screen, you select a bunch of stuff on your side. You don't select anything on their side, and I think it says like gift or something like that. But you just give it to them for free. And if you gift enough stuff and you trade them enough stuff and you get enough value, all those things together, you'll trigger the king or the queen coming to you. Now this happened actually right in the middle of me making my Carts 4 tutorial. Right at the end, I got the mountain home showed up. So I wanted to just show you a few details about what happens and what you're going to have to plan for or prepare for. So you can see here, I left this up. I've got a whole bunch of people showing up. I've got all these baronesses, barons, counts, generals, all kinds of stuff. These are all just like the entourage that's going around with the kin. Some of them may stay, some of them may not. If I see here on my noble screen, I had this person was a baron that I think was pretty much good to go, but now wants all kinds of other stuff. Gets a bunch of yellows. There's some more improvements I need to do because I don't remember if it's a girl or a boy, but I think it's a duchess. So I believe it's a girl. So she is now a duchess instead of a baroness. So she wants a lot more stuff that I'm gonna have to improve. But I also, you see, I got a queen, so I actually got a queen instead of a king. There's not really any difference between those two. I mean, obviously, this is a girl, not a boy, but I mean, there's no gameplay difference between the two. And then the king's consort is here, and I assume that's a guy, but it doesn't necessarily have to be with the way that Tarn built it. And they also have the outpost liaison showed up and want some stuff too. So there's 3 people that showed up that I'm gonna have to start building a little residence for. And you could get many more than this. You could show up with a whole bunch. And in fact, I paused this pretty quick on. I might end up having some of these people decide to hang out here, and I might get 4 or 5 more people that I have to build for. Now, building for nobles, getting some tips on that is that you want to have rooms that are a little bit bigger than just normal dwarf rooms. So you see for my normal dwarf rooms, I'm putting these just 4 big. It's got a bed, it's got a chest, it's got a cabinet, it's got a door, and that's good to go. But for my actual suites that I'm building for my nobles and stuff, you can see I've got 3 different rooms for them. So I've got a little study, I've got a dining hall, I've got their bedroom. It's got multiple items in there, and you can see that I've actually already engraved these. So what I start with is smoothing them, and then I go into engraving them. And engraving it now is its own skill, so you can't really train it up except by engraving. So if it's actually starting to get difficult for me to get to the room values I need, it's probably that the engravings weren't that great. So I could just make additional sets. I also I do it in this pattern. You can see it's a 5x2 for a room out here, and then a 3x3, and then a 2x3, and it kind of creates a little square that I can then replicate, and it takes up. Now I guess I could make this one a little bit bigger. I just don't. But it makes it so it's pretty easy to put another one of these rooms just right next to it and keep going as many times as I need. you want to try to, you don't have to do it this way, but you want to try to build in such a way that it's easy to replicate for yourself, and gives you enough space to actually put extra stuff. So if I get to a room value that's not high enough, like for instance, if they need more value in the bedroom, well, I can now toss like a couple statues here. If I need some more room value in here, I could toss a statue here or down here or something like that. And there's still plenty of room for them to walk. The study's getting a little cramped, but for instance, I don't necessarily need this armor stand here. I can move the armor stand out somewhere else and put something more valuable here, or the chest, I can take it out. The other thing you're going to want to do is a lot of times, like when I build it for my normal dwarves, I'll just use closest for all the furniture. When you're building for your nobles, what you're going to want to do is instead, when you come up to your screen for furniture, let's say I'm making a bed, instead of doing use closest, I'm going to want to select the material. And I'm just going to start placing a bed here, even though I'm not going to finish placing a bed here. And the reason why you're going to want to do that is because you're going to want to drop open these selections and look for the more valuable ones. So like this one's one step down from the top because it's got that little star, but there's not a star with a hole in it, so it's not the highest one. What you're looking for is these. It's got a little star with a hole in it. Now, technically, there is one higher than that. It's artifacts, and artifacts will be named. I don't know if I have built a named bed. I haven't. So the highest one I can without building an artifact is this, and it's masterwork. It basically looks like a little gear. It's got the hole in the middle of the star as opposed to no hole in the middle of the star. As you see, this one's got no hole in it. So that's the difference. So this is one step down from masterwork, and this is masterwork. And you're going to want to get, as for the most part, masterwork stuff in there. Now, I believe that, yeah, you can just click on these. You can see, like, this is a masterwork weapon rack. This is a masterwork cabinet. This is a masterwork cabinet. This is not a masterwork throne. So if I wanted to, I could come in here and see if I needed to increase the value on this, I could come in here and see if I've made a masterwork throne. Have I made a masterwork throne since that? No, so I don't currently have any masterwork thrones made. So I could build a batch of thrones, which a throne is just a stone chair. I can make a batch of that and see if I get a masterwork one, and then I can just remove this and replace it with a masterwork. Check the table. The table's also not masterwork, so I can see if I have any of those. Go into the furniture, select a table. I may have created a masterwork table since then. Actually, I think I may have made an artifact table if I remember right. Well, I do have a masterwork orthoclase table right here. Maybe I don't have a named one. I think I actually, one of these guys, I think I got a masterwork something that I put in one of these rooms. I don't remember. Yeah, here we go. So this is an artifact. I mean, an artifact armor stand. So you see it's named here instead of, you can see the value is 2,000 on here, whereas this one's value is 30. And you can see it's not even, it's not even masterwork. It's a pretty crappy granite armor stand. So I could definitely improve the quality over here on this one by getting rid of this crappy armor stand. And is this one a masterwork by any chance? No, it's not masterwork. What's my best armor stand? Military armor stands. Let's see if you have a masterwork one that I can just install real quick so I could show you the difference. No, looks like I need to make some more of these, get some masterwork ones pumped out. But the masterwork armor stand is going to be higher. I think actually the weapon racks are on par. So this weapon rack's 50. So it's not that much more value by adding it. So 30 to 50. But it can make a big deal. Like this room right here is obviously always going to be the best quality I can. My mayor, I'm pretty sure, is perfectly happy with that. Yeah, he's happy with all his rooms. But my Duchess, which this is her area, she needs some work. So the other thing you could do is gold statues. So I don't really use gold for anything, but you end up kind of collecting a little bit of it as you go through your fortress. You often pick up these little gold nuggets when you're digging around. So if you do that, you can turn them into statues. And those have a lot of value. So let me get a whole bunch of gold statues made. Let me just see a valuable one. I don't kind of need masterwork gold statues yet. Oh, but this one's pretty good. So this gold statue, let's go ahead and get that started to be built. And we'll let it go so I can show you the value on that. So the gold is just a nice valuable resource. And then once you get your gold people working pretty well, and what you can actually do as well is because it's a metal, you can actually come in here to that list of gold statues. I don't remember if you can see it from here what the quality is. I'm actually going to take a look. Yeah, statues. Yes, you can. So from right here, this is probably be the best screen to do it, actually. I recommend that. Is just coming in here, and since it's all metallic, you could just go through the melt on everything that's not that valuable and melt it on down, and then remake the gold statues again. And the only thing you want to do when you're doing that, and I'll go ahead and tag that right now, is that they won't start melting these all on their own. You actually need a melt task for it to go. And I don't think I've created a melt task yet on this fortress because I haven't started doing anything. I'll leave these ones, but I'm gonna go melt everything else. So the way you deal with melt task, and I would put it on repeat, is just open the work orders, and just do melt a metal object right here. So that will melt anything that has been tagged, and I usually put it down to pretty low. So something like if I've got 3 of them designated, I'll go ahead and do it. So melt designated items. So I'll set that to 3. So now as soon as I get at least 3 melt designated items, I'm going to melt 3 of them. So now those statues that I all designated that aren't high enough quality, my dwarves will actually go and melt those down and then remake them, because I already have it built. The only thing I use gold for is statues, and it should be somewhere in here. Yeah, make a golden statue. So I make 3 golden statues as long as I have 3 golden bars. So they'll just immediately rework those back into some more statues. Then I could go back into that stock screen, stock statues, and melt again all the ones that are low quality. I was kind of hoping the dwarves would get here already and install this. Let me make sure that they're still working on it. Yeah, they haven't suspended it yet. And we'll see if a dwarf, this little check mark on a scroll here, that can tell you what tasks everything is doing. And there should be, construct with that. All right, so we got somebody on. So we go look him. Where are you, buddy? He may have already moved. May have moved too quick. Here, pause it. Pause it. And go to, where are you? Carol Zuglar. Where are you, Carol? Carol. You're around here somewhere, Carol. There you are. There you are. You follow. Alright, unpause it. Let's see how she does. So she looks like she is way down by that statue. That's pretty funny. So I don't know if she's hurt or something. Let me see. It's just so heavy for her, I guess. Looks like her health is fine. So I don't know. She's just, maybe she's weak. Maybe the statue's just really heavy. I didn't think that they moved that slow. That's kind of funny. So she'll eventually get there. She has to go down just 1 level and then come back over and drop the statue off. But dwarves have a very amount of strength. So it looks like, actually I don't know if Cyril is a girl or a boy. Or Carol, what is his name? Cyril. That's actually a guy. So this, I don't know if this, I guess that's a guy's name. So I don't know if Cyril's like really weak. It's kind of tough to see some of their attributes, but behind the scenes they have like a strength and a vitality stat and agility and all this kind of stuff. And it doesn't generally matter too much because they're not usually carrying something that's really, really heavy. But if they're carrying something that's really heavy and that happens to be one of those weak dwarves, they're gonna move really slow like this. That's just funny. But here we go. So we've installed that, and so this gold statue here, it's not masterwork, it's 1 down, but the value is another 1,000. So I just installed a gold statue in here, and let me see. Yeah, so it used to be yellow, and now she's good. She's got this grand dining room, so she's happy with that. So I could do the same thing in the bedroom, and in the office, and pump those up. I could do the same thing down in the tomb. So her tomb's down here a couple levels, I believe. Where's the tomb level? It's not hard. There it is. It's tomb level. Yeah, right there. So I can put a couple statues in here and pump up the tomb level and make her happy with that. I'm also going to want to just replicate this stuff over here. Pause it again. For the monarch and for their... I believe that these two will actually share a room. So I'm just going to assign it to the queen. And I believe that Volcar here will get the same room as the queen. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure that that's how they'll work. And so you don't really have to build two for the consort. You're just going to have to build one for your monarch, and then that one will come over. I will have to do one for the outpost liaison down here, though. And then it doesn't look like any more people showed up. So it looks like I'm only going to have to deal with the queen and the outpost liaison. The other difference that you're going to see is that you will no longer get liaisons from the dwarven caravans. So before you get to tell them what you want, you still should get caravans if there's other fragments of the civilization. But you won't get the guy to show up and negotiate with him and tell him what you want. You're just going to get whatever they happen to bring. And in case you didn't know on that piece of it, if you trade them, whatever you buy from them, they will, especially if you like buy out that whole category, they'll come back with more of it the next time. So if there's something you keep buying a lot of, you'll end up getting more and more of it. So that's another way to claim it, even without selecting something, just by purchasing it outright. And the first time they show up, they're going to show up with like a wide assortment of everything. So if you don't really want to specifically designate something, but you do want them to show up with it, just make sure you buy it out, even if you don't need it right then. They'll show up with more of it later, and it can help you out. So I think that's about all I wanted to talk about with the monarchs. Just know that you're going to need to have these rooms, and they're also going to, all of these guys that are royalty are going to have these stupid little commands. So I have to like, this person wants a clear glass window in their bedroom, for instance. So I gotta go figure out that and make some glass, put the clear glass window in the bedroom, and if they don't get what they want, if they demand something they don't get it, then they're gonna punish they'll decide a random dwarf in your civilization that is at fault for doing it, and then there'll be punishments once you get your justice system up and going. So it's just more people that you have to keep happy. But keeping your nobles happy actually makes all of your dwarves happier a little bit, so it helps with the overall happiness. So it's good to try to play the mini game of making them happy, for whatever reason, dwarves like that. So hopefully that helps, and have a good night.